Are you annoyed that if you put Clash of the Titans into Google, it first put the remake instead of the original, Philip?
Oh, yeah. It's a trap, isn't it? You just wanted to make me start talking about something. Hello, everybody. It's Twofold podcast time again. Wow!
you cut off from me. You went like this.
Same here.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks. Internet still sucks, but what can you do? Anyway, I'm with Jake with his second to last episode, officially.
Skates.
The man is leaving.
What?
Wow, it's so true.
It's true. You're very
listen to this.
before last time in your little podcast.
In the tradition of old times, I couldn't resist getting myself a brewski because, harking back to the initial idea.
Yeah.
Today I'm drinking a Roaster Coaster Nitro
Wow.
Imperial Vietnamese Coffee Stout.
Wait. What? I understand.
What?
I understand. Coffee stout. What's that got to do with Vietnam?
I don't know, my friend.
Well,
Nitro
did you know
Imperial Vietnamese Coffee. So Vietnamese coffee stout.
I was going to say Vietnam has a pretty big coffee scene.
There you
Okay,
go.
so Vietnamese coffee. Okay, so first of all, wait, let's do this. So Imperial usually means it's stronger. So is it Imperial coffee or is it Imperial beer?
Oh my
And also
goodness, I don't know.
Nitro is like that type of coffee. So it is Nitro. Why would Imperial Nitro Vietnamese coffee stout?
Hey, you
No,
know what?
wait.
Maybe it's this. No, it's Nitro Vietnamese Coffee Imperial
Yes.
Stout.
Right.
Maybe that's it.
What does it taste like?
Has
I mean, maybe.
has a 9% alcohol.
9 alcohols in here.
It has
There's 9
surprisingly
alcohols
a
in
little
there.
less fizzy. It's a little more like erring towards the side of like a Guinness type.
Yeah, what's a
vibe.
stout? That's what, it
Yeah, no,
shouldn't be
but-
too fizzy. Be
Okay,
smooth
but I
and
guess
buttery.
maybe the ones I've had have had more carbonation. But let's give it a sip here for old time's sake.
Let's do it. Go. Just do it.
Do you feel Vietnam?
Do it.
So it's a little lighter than I thought, given it's an imperial stout.
Yes.
At
Nitro.
the beginning, there's sort of these coffee notes, very pleasant, kind of mellow, almost like a mild, almost like a medium brew coffee
Okay.
or medium coffee bean, right? Like, what do you call that? Roast. And kind of a general coffee-ish, stoutish aftertaste, but not too lingering. Like it's more pleasant. Not too bad.
Pleasant.
So wait, are you drinking a coffee or a beer?
Who knows?
Who knows what they've done? So that reminded us of the olden days. Remember that? Remember what a show that was? Remember at the beginning there was
goodness.
an intro. There was one movie. There was a beer talk.
Oh,
There was
you mean Twofold? Yeah.
Twofold. There was
yeah.
Dedicated
So-
beer talk, which I think was like the most hated segment ever.
It's true.
It was
It's true.
like,
Yeah, everyone hated it.
beer talk.
You named
One
it.
movie. Then there was a musical break, and then another
that's
movie.
right, the musical break.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot about the musical break. Oh man,
It used to be like a
Those were
2.5
fun.
hour show.
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
Yeah.
So much preparation and
And my favorite was like when we launched, we were like, we're going to keep this nice and tight and amazing. And it's like episode 1, an hour 58.
yep. It just went downhill from there.
But
was a bonanza.
we started with a bang with Spider-Man.
That's true.
That was good.
The old one from the books we started with, and then all kinds of stuff. It's interesting, kind of, looking back at this podcast. I remember there were many nights where, not many, but a few nights where I'd have this late night watching sesh for the podcast because, we had these two movies for homework.
Yeah, your habits.
Oh yes.
And then I would have watched one movie, I don't know, some evening. We were more, I think, what's that called? Disciplined at the beginning.
Yes, we released
Oh
on
yeah,
schedule.
yeah, because we
And
were
I remember-
excited.
And I remember I like for the second movie, sometimes I'd be like, ooh, I'll watch, at like 2 in the freaking morning and then, finish at like 4 in the morning. Like,
Oh, no.
Yeah,
occasionally. Like a
As
late
you
night
do.
session, after you finish all your stuff you got to do and you just carve out this time.
That's
Those are very
right.
strange experiences because I remember just like alone watching the movie.
Interesting.
And it's like, I got myself like a beer or something. I'm just like watching and it's,
I would imagine
Strange.
it must have been an amazing experience watching like what would be like? What was that Russian movie we watched?
Astralis? No, Solaris.
Solaris. Just like at 2 a.m. in the morning, just with a beer.
Here's a good question. What was your
It's good
guys'
stuff.
in retrospective? What were your guys' most memorable viewings? Like
Oh, that's a
watching
good
the
one.
movies.
It's a
I can
good
tell
one.
you. Let's think about it for a second, and I can tell you some of mine while you guys think.
All
I'll
right.
have to
What
ask
comes
Olivier.
to mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe pull up the list, Tim, and maybe you can refresh
Yeah.
your memories.
Hey, pull up the old
One
list.
I'll never forget
Pull
was like I
the
said,
old
that
list.
late
Pull up the
night
list.
session at 2
Pull
in the
up the
morning.
old list.
Was in the summer,
Mhm.
and I watched that movie called Hard Boiled, the Phil.
Yeah, hard boiled.
And I remember
The,
like my wife went to bed and
the
I said,
Wu movie.
I'm gonna watch this for the podcast. And I thought I would like easily handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I got pretty tired, but it was just a very strange experience, just like sort of, hot summer, like, dead of night. Everyone is like sleeping
Hot
and I'm watching this
summer.
movie for the podcast. I remember that one.
Are
else
either
do I
of you
remember?
looking at our list on the?
No, I thought you could do that work for
I
me.
am.
Okay, because
I
it
am.
says anonymous tiger, and I was so scared.
That's just me.
somebody
It's just
had
me.
access to.
Yeah, someone's
Let me
trying to
pull up
steal.
the list.
Someone's trying to look at those juicy deets
So the secrets
of
are here.
our podcast.
Yeah. No, I definitely remember watching Solaris and that being like a out of the body experience of just like a really cool mood of watching that. I remember
Yeah.
Yeah.
really
Did you
enjoying
watch
it.
it? Here's a good
Burge.
question. Did you watch it like on TV, laptop, or were you like,
I think most of these I watched on TV.
Ah.
TV and headphones.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I watch them on TV, but I have a TV right next to my monitors, so I just pop it on there. Pretty big screen,
for me, it was
headphones.
at the beginning, like the first maybe half episodes, I think I watched mostly on the TV, and then I switched to the laptop here and there. I kind of did half and half. It really depended, like sort of what the situation was, stuff like that.
I think the worst
So
condition.
we're just talking. Go on.
The worst condition I watched the movie for this podcast was The King because I had to watch it, and then my nieces were over, and we couldn't do the headphones things because I only have one splitter, so only two people can watch on headphones. So we had to put it, without headphones. But my daughter, she was like, what, 1? She was sleeping next door, so we couldn't have it loud. So we just had the subtitles on. So I have no idea what the sound of that movie is.
Sorry, which movie again?
The King.
The
with
King.
with Tim.
Is it the one with Paula?
Yeah, the one with Paula.
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
wasn't
Oh, you were
on that
gone.
episode. I was gone, but I wasn't in that episode. So the way I imagined,
Japan,
I was, and I
naked
like
with
honestly,
men
that's-
in a bath.
yeah. But I remember very vividly listening to the podcast, like just walking down the streets of Osaka. So that's what I will always remember: The King and that episode.
Thinking about those juicy butts.
Yeah.
Of those
Oh, you
men
were
in
sending
the-
us
No,
like
I-
pictures
in the
as well.
onsen.
You were sending-
Yeah. I know. But I'm just telling you, it's such an interesting, like very picturesque memory of mine
Yeah.
in my head, just walking down the streets, listening to you guys talk about the
Walking
King
down
and
the
Romeo and
street.
Juliet.
Here's a
And-
good one. Yeah, go ahead.
But the way I imagine you guys recording it is like you guys are just sitting on the floor in a circle with pillows and candles. I don't know why. Jacob, Paula, Tim.
That's
And,
funny.
just
That was the Romeo and Juliet one. I remember as
Yes.
well, the combo. Those were, I remember we had an easier time. Actually, I think we had an easier time watching The King. And then we went to watch Romeo and Juliet. I think we were a little bit like, I forgot how weird that movie was.
I think
I didn't see it.
definitely memorable screening, and I think we talk about in the podcast was the Star Wars because going to the cinema, then the bomb threat, and then
yes.
us,
with the bomb, yeah.
That's a
and then us
classic story.
rushing through the city, driving to the other cinema across town
That's a
just to
good
go
story,
see it.
though.
And then we rushed through the city to get to the next.
And we
cinema to
made
watch
it like
remember.
with minutes
Yeah.
grace.
That was
I'm trying to
hilarious.
think, what are some other good like cinema experiences back when we went to the cinema?
For me,
I
like
remember-
the cinema experiences were great when we started out watching this.
Yeah,
but
they were
then I
fun. It was
think-
like a chill kind of, we went in the evening, we
Yes.
set
Yeah.
up Phil in the city, and we went to watch like a movie, and then we just kind of went back home. Like you went home, I went home, and it was pretty
it was
interesting.
cool. Yeah, it was fun.
And I used to go, like I used to do the 10 o'clock screenings. It was just
Oh,
me
you
and
were
it.
the solo man.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I'm looking at
From the theater movies I liked actually watching, I remember, so kind of to briefly go through it, Yesterday was fun to go watch. I remember we went with Paula, me, Phil. I think that's it. That was a fun one. I remember also...
Yesterday, yeah.
I also actually really enjoyed watching, strangely enough, The Goldfinch was like
Oh yeah, I didn't like that
movie
one.
experience.
Yeah, I liked, but me and Jacob, I think you're going to say the same thing I am, but go on.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, it was a cool atmosphere because we kind of went in cold, no idea. I think no one was even in the cinema. Like, we were like the fourth person there.
Totally.
And it felt like this sort of like screening, like we're going to go watch it for The Guardian. For the reviews.
Yeah, that's how it felt like. Exactly how I felt, the same way. Yeah.
Which was fun.
It's like I'm doing it for the, the New York Times.
To link it back, me and Phil, I don't know if you listened anymore, but ages ago, I used to listen to this show called Kermode and Mayo on this channel called Five Live from the UK. And he's a film reviewer. And that's what reminded me of like us kind of going like on a, we're booked to go watch the movie to go then review it. That was fun.
Yeah. So that's how Mark Kermode is, I think, my favorite movie critic. He's awesome. And so it's fun. I have the same feeling.
Yeah. Ad Astra was actually kind of a more difficult, I don't know why I watched. I remember it was just like, it was hard to, like, it felt more like homework to me watching Ad Astra.
Damn it, The Irishman came out so long ago. That's so strange.
Oh wow, I thought it was 2020 because it came out on Netflix, right?
Yeah, but it did. Well, it actually came out late 2019. So yeah, it wasn't that far. I guess this podcast.
Fast and Furious, I didn't like watching the cinema. That was like total homework. That was like, oh my goodness.
Yes, I agree.
Come on,
I agree.
It felt like just like junky. The whole experience.
Yeah,
junky.
I remember from the companion movies. I remember being disappointed that you guys didn't have a lot to say about The Great Dictator. Oh. I just remember like I was expecting more conversation, and then nothing happened. And the infamous.
What did you want to talk about?
I don't know. I was expecting something, but I guess it was more nostalgic to me, and you guys were just kind of like, oh, yeah, great.
So
it was the first time we watched it.
Yeah.
One I really liked a lot watching in cinemas, maybe my favorite experience was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah,
that was fun.
That was a great one because I think it was also like an event. I think a lot of people came to watch the movie, and it didn't feel bad because I think we got an okay audience, like sort of our age to generally older audience members, which was nice. So people kind of went to see the new like Tarantino movie versus like a bunch of dumb kids. That was nice.
Oh man, the dumb kids, yeah. Always had dumb kids somewhere.
And that was like, I liked it because you were just there and you're dedicated like to watch this and see what this,
Yeah.
It was, the pace was really, for me, enjoyable. It felt very cinema, like appropriate.
No.
It was fun.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood looked so good. Like,
yeah.
The 60s looked like it was for real.
For real.
Joker, I didn't like watching that cinema. I think they had a bunch of dumb kids on that one.
Oh,
I wanted to like punch them. Ruined it.
And then it's funny how we don't talk about the 2020 era.
It was the
saddest era.
But wait, guys, there was Little Women. We went to watch that. That was good.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah.
That was nice.
Little
Christmassy.
We watched some documentaries. Have a good trip. That was the most disappointing one probably movie we ever watched.
Yeah, that was like
that was so uneventful. Fluff.
Like, and I picked it. It was bad. Fluff.
It's like drugs make you think about the world differently.
You could one sentence could solve that entire documentary. That's it. That's all they said over and over again.
Was a weird era of the podcast for me was that when the lockdown happened here, at least in Croatia, it was like March, April 2020, somewhere around there. And that's when we swapped over to the one movie instead of two.
That's right.
That was a weird time. Like I remember, like we did that Scoob. We did like
The Old Guard and
that Onward.
Extraction.
I didn't like that. It's just some strange times.
What about Homeward? Homeward looks great.
Homeward.
Homeward. Guess what? I don't even remember
my favorite
Homeward.
movie of all of our podcasts. Honestly,
Here's
Homeward
a question,
was
guys.
amazing. Jim. I want to watch.
I don't remember it at all.
How did you guys honestly? Like, since now I'm leaving the podcast, I have an honest question for you. Like, how did you survive watching some of these movies, especially like these bad ones like Homeward? Honestly, I had such a difficult time. Like, I had to force myself to like open my laptop and press play on the movie, and then I'm watching. I'm just thinking about everything else I could be doing except watching the movie. And it was just constantly going. I was thinking to myself, like, how am I going to get through this 2 hours? It just felt like this giant brick.
I loved Homeward, man. I enjoyed watching that. To me, the most like the stuff that I struggle with watching is stuff like whatever, Extraction. It's just like the mediocre
Extraction,
ones.
man.
Or
Extraction. The Old Guard.
The Old Guard, or what was the other one? Like Triple Frontier and...
I forgot about... I thought that was fun to talk about, though. Triple Frontier.
Yeah, we made fun of that one. And what was the other one? The Fast and Furious. Those are like the hard ones. Like just the medium, boring. If it's terrible, I love that. I can just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's just the medium ones. It's just... Ugh.
I think one of the funniest thing is that whenever I think of us recording the podcast, I always think of #Alive and 28 Days Later, because that was the day.
That was a weird one.
Because that was the time when I slept on a battery on on a mattress.
Phil's life was over when he slept on a battery.
It was so bad, dude. Like I still honestly the muscle still hurts when I use it. Like,
well, do you know what happened? Do you know?
I could just imagine a car battery underneath a mattress, like Phil a hobo sleeping below a bridge.
Me.
But Tim, to connect it to the movies, like Spider-Man, like the voltage went in Phil's body and it altered his DNA,
exactly,
his makeup. He got these, sub powers that don't
supercharged.
The gap in my tooth
make him feel
fixed.
bad when he flexes. That's the battery did that. It's still
that's
losing his veins.
But man, that's what I remember. #Alive in 20 years.
Here's a question for you guys. Since I'm also leaving, I wanted to say
I'm also leaving. Who else is leaving?
Who else is leaving?
For some of these movies, so something that I don't know if listeners know, but for me, like watching a movie really can alter, for instance, like my mood, and it also I can't just jump into a movie and be like, I can watch. Sure, like for the podcast, I had to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I am at a point where it's like I prefer most of the time to watch a film that won't necessarily make me feel bad, right? It can be a serious movie, but generally, it depends on where I'm at and what's happening in my life. But usually I'll prefer something that makes me feel better. But for some of these ones that we have to watch, when I look back at it, it was just very, it's like it altered my state for a couple of days, and it's like,
oh my,
it was very
couple of days.
Which movies were these? Was it the devil
instance,
all the time?
Yeah, that sucked, man.
Like that one was that, I don't know, it just felt weird. It's like, because I had to, watch it on my own. I didn't have anyone to bounce off or talk about the movie. Just sitting and watching the movie. There was, let's see, which movies were there? Some recent
28 Days Later?
28 Days Later, the Alive movie. What was that one? Devil All the Time. That one that we watched with the guy in the snow driving to the family.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking of ending things.
Yeah, that was a cool movie. I like that a lot.
A couple of movies like that. I'm trying to think what else there was.
Scoob made you
for sure.
I hated Scoob. Oh, that was.
What about 2017? 1917 when we watched it in cinemas.
That was good. I like that.
Oh,
okay. That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Didn't make you feel too bad?
No, that didn't make me feel bad.
King of Comedy, that was cool. I like that movie too.
Oh, that was good.
Did you like Inside Llewyn Davis?
Most Violent Year. That
was good.
One
of my favorite. That's one of my favorite watching sessions. Was that?
Nice.
Which one? Which one? The Most Violent Year or
Llewyn?
Oh yeah.
And the rapper lady.
Oh yeah.
40-year-old version. Yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
That was a fun.
I just kicked back, watched. I was like, it's interesting, cool.
I couldn't. It was hard. But no, 40-year-old version I liked. Llewyn Davis, not so much, unfortunately.
Really?
Just, it's a personal thing. Personal.
Okay.
Just,
Tenet, that was like homework.
I was falling asleep when I was.
Oh man, yeah, that was Tenet. Oof. Tenet was oof.
What else was there?
Whisker Away.
So since next episode is your last official episode of Twofold Podcast, let's make it old school. Bring a song.
Yeah,
play a song.
Oh, we should play a song. Maybe I can tell you some of my stories from working, working for the American man at the language school.
He is an American man.
The final boss.
The American man.
Yeah, the final boss of the podcast.
I gotta think of some stories I can tell you.
The final boss of Jake's podcast career.
Yeah. He's the final boss. And then bring some beers. All three of us will bring some craft
I'll bring
beers.
beers. Don't worry. I'll do it.
Sake, you know?
I will. For old time's sake.
By the way, just a little
because all I do is I drink vitamin water now. Whenever I talk to you guys,
Phil,
that's how I
you're
transition.
going all San Francisco.
Yeah, because I went yesterday, like 2 days ago. I went out and I drank way too much, and it was the worst feeling ever.
You mean the best feeling for a time?
Oh yeah, but
for
then,
about 10 minutes.
So it was nightmare. It was so bad. Like I was dizzy. I was nauseated, and then I had this strange
Tell us about this story.
need.
It sounds fun.
I had this strange need
For
to get
McDonald's.
some ham. To eat some ham, and I don't know why, but the shunka tasted really good after I was really
It's
drunk.
salty.
When I'm
Salty.
drunk, I also
Yeah.
like usually crave some foods, some like hearty foods, you know, like sausages and things like that.
That's why weddings
I
are the
remember-
best thing because they bring out like the 12 o'clock food.
Yeah.
And it's like the most tasty food because you're just like a little bit tipsy
so
and you're
good.
like,
It's so true.
goulash at 12, you know?
Okay.
Yes, I will
I
have
remember
some.
one time when I think it was the second time I got drunk. I went to my Christmas party for work, right? And I'm walking home. I'm going to the bus, right, from the place we were at. And I remember like it was so funny. It's like, you know, where it's like you're trying to stay up, right, and like walk,
Yeah.
and you know, like but your brain is just like wiggly wobbly, and it's like it was so funny because like I think when you're drunk, it's like, you know, instinct takes over. You don't have that like gap of like thinking about it. You just like do whatever.
Yes.
Great. And my favorite was like I saw this, you know, it was during Christmas time here. Here they sell like sausages, you know, like in a bun,
Yeah.
or like, you know, like kids
Christmas
kinders and
markets.
stuff like that. Yeah, and I was like. And I just came back from like eating food at this place and drinking and stuff like that. But it's just like I automatically just went towards like just zoomed into
You
that
saw
place. I was like,
yourself buying it.
Sausage. Yeah. It's like I'll have a sausage. And it's so funny because when you're drunk, you're eating and it's like it tastes good, but suddenly it's like gone in like a second. You just ate it so fast. You're just like, oh,
Just Jacob comes back. Oh, one more sausage.
yeah. And it's just so
It's gone.
weird because but then you feel bad later. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
the sausage, oh, heavy.
Yeah, and I had the same problem, except I drank so much that my bladder was pain. It was so much pain.
Painful
no.
bladder.
No.
Oh man, because I drank so
What did
much
you
and I
drink?
couldn't pee.
Beer?
Where
What
could
did
I
you
go?
drink, my friend?
Three I had
Wine?
like 3
Beer?
pints. It was bad.
Oh, you gotta leak that. Like this
You
is the
gotta
I
leak
worst.
that.
did
between
leak it.
pints.
I did leak. Stop lecturing me. Listen to my story.
Okay,
Whoa, I'm getting defensive.
if your leakage.
Yeah, so I was on the tram going back
He's leaking
home.
battery acid from the
Wait, what is going on? How does wet? Oh, damn it!
Yes.
Miriam
well, anyway,
knows. Never mind. Continue. Yes.
forget it. But like
Who did it?
this same.
I don't know.
What's happening?
Nothing. Just keep talking. Keep talking.
Okay, so there's like
I didn't just say anything.
So listen, it was just like the worst feeling of bladder. Like, and I was like, to make a long story short, I just didn't care about anybody. And I was in the park somewhere and I found a dark place where there was a tree and I just peed on the tree. I'm such a, this is like
confession.
this is like
sorry,
that little
tree.
pup. You know that meme where it's like that wolf, you know, the one where it's like really violent looking wolf. And then I'm the one with the little puppy wolf, you know, going, and doing a
peeing on trees.
Anyway, we have a
Creepier.
job to do. Let's talk about this.
It's true.
This movie that we
No more
watched.
talking about peeing on trees.
On my
First
last
of all-
episode, exclusive drunk stories.
Yeah. Okay, that's
And
fine.
peeing
We
on
can
we
do
don't want to
anything
go
you want.
there. I have a child. I can't be telling these until they're like 20.
It's okay. You just what's that called? DRM, protect the episodes. You know,
Oh no,
yeah,
man!
yeah.
Like I think,
when you're 20, I'll give you
Yeah,
the
you're right.
password.
yeah.
I mean, they'll probably be off the internet by then, maybe.
Most
Anyway,
likely.
welcome to Twofold
When
Podcast.
the
Johnny,
moon
play the
collides.
Johnny, play the song. All right, this is the third and final episode of my Ray Harryhausen month. Hey, yay!
Yay! Harryhausen.
Yeah. And this movie was Clash of the Titans. Hey, it came out in 1981, but it feels like it was filmed in 1961.
Tash of the Claytons.
Something
All right,
I
so-
learned today. I thought it was like a 60s movie. Only when I went to IMDb, I saw like 1981. What the hell?
Yeah, I kind of told you it was 1981, but you know.
I didn't
okay.
catch it at all until I actually looked it up, and I was like, what?
Yeah. So, guys, Tim, have you ever seen this film before?
Nope. I saw the remake, and I don't remember anything from the remake.
That's unfortunate. Jacob, when did we watched Clash of the Titans at least twice?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I think it was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, we watched it with our friend Drew once.
That's
and
right.
then there was this lady who was breastfeeding in the movie. And then because how old were we? Like 17 or something? We were just like, we just started calling it Clash of the Tits after that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Clash of the Tits.
Amazing. Because a woman was breastfeeding.
One breast.
Yeah.
One breast, all it takes for you guys to be like, that's all I can think about this
We were
movie.
like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Shows, yeah.
just the breast.
Chicken
So,
breast.
Clash of the Titans is a movie that's based on Greek mythology, based on basically the adventures or the misadventures of Perseus. And he's the son of Zeus.
Not to be confused with Pelias.
Yeah, and this is
He's
Ray
the-
Harryhausen's last movie he ever did.
He
After
is
this,
the
retired.
great-grandfather of Heracles, not to be confused with Hercules, the Roman version of Heracles, but he's also his half-brother.
Look at that. What?
Yeah, they're also
That's
brothers.
right. He is because they're both sons of Zeus.
Yep. Zeus is
So
a
gross.
kinky little god.
And they didn't shy away with that. At least that's what when I was watching this, they kind of mentioned quite a few times what Zeus was up
Yeah,
to.
I'm pretty sure Zeus impregnated half of Greece and Turkey. Modern day Turkey.
Why didn't they have an army of superhumans then?
It's true.
Yeah.
I just
So
learned that
Clash-
today. That Hercules, how we say it, is not actually the Greek Hercules.
Yeah, it's Heracles.
That's the Roman version of the hero.
Yeah, the Roman one is Hercules.
Yep.
The
The-
Greek
Does
one
you
is
say Hercules?
Heracles. Hercules.
and in England they call him Herky.
Herky.
Old Herky.
Oh,
Mate
Herky.
My mate Herky. We're gonna
Herky.
find some.
Pop
We're
a
gonna,
fag, Herky.
Find some birds. My
we're
man
gonna go
Herky.
fight with the Gorgons, Herky.
Would you like some
Gorgon
giant
City.
eels, little Herky?
My mate Herky and Percy. There
Dig
you go,
in,
Percy.
Herky.
So, Clash of the Titans, just to give you a little taste of the plot, it's not too difficult to understand. Kind of simple, very, very similar to Jason and the Argonauts, now that I'm thinking about it. The movie starts where a guy is like going to kill some kind of heir, going to kill some kind of offspring.
That's
Of
right.
someone.
Same setup.
And in this case, he throws this woman who has a child with Zeus, which is revealed later.
Or maybe
like-
what is
This sin that we cannot have in this city. Sorry, go.
Yeah, again, sorry, yeah, you're right. It's a man killing a wife killing a woman and a child. these Greek, hero journeys start off pretty brutal.
Yeah, they start pretty brutal. And then we go to Olympus and we find out Zeus ain't taking that because he likes Perseus because that's one of his children. And he's like, for that, the city of... I forget the city. Give me a second.
It's called, one second,
Argonaut.
Argos.
Oh, is it Argus? Close.
It's close.
Argos. The
Close
city
on.
of Argos shall be
I was
punished.
right.
And
Can
then
I
he
get
says...
one twofold
Yes.
credit.
You
to
get a
redeem?
twofold credit. You're going to have to deposit it before you leave the twofold
Yep,
crew.
exactly.
Okay, but isn't it
You get a
automatic
twofold
two
back.
credits because twofold, right? Like automatically it's just bumped up by
Yeah,
one.
we work in a binary system. Everything just must be two.
Oh.
Yeah. And Laurence Olivier is in the movie, by the way. He's a very good actor. He played Zeus.
He's Zeus, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
also,
so
Tim,
funny.
you noticed...
What? No,
Yeah.
I was looking at the credits and it's like, the credits are going and it's like, Laurence Olivier. And I'm like, I know that name, but I have no idea who that is.
That's true. Same thing. I don't know what he was in.
He was in classic things. Don't
Yeah, I
talk
looked
to
up.
me.
I did not
Clash of
watching
the
any of his classic things. What is he, like a 50s actor? What was his prime time?
Yeah, 50s, 40s.
Yeah.
But Maggie Smith's in it. That's
That's
an
true.
interesting
Yeah.
one.
She's the wife of
Maggie
the
Smith
director.
plays McGonagall
Oh,
in the Harry
yeah.
Potter series films.
But I'm wondering, like, Tim, what did you think when you saw Maggie Smith? You're like, oh, ha, 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 ha.
Oh, like the
I think that was his actual reaction. He was watching the TV. He's like, oh, ho, 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 ho.
I was confused because when I played the movie, I didn't know it came out in 1981, and I expected her to be a lot younger. So I was like,
So
what is
I
this?
also thought the movie was.
I mean,
made
Maggie Smith always looks
earlier.
old.
I thought it was like 1972.
I mean,
Wait,
that's
when
not
was
bad.
Jason? When did Jason come out?
Like
67. 63. 63.
63.
Whoa, that's ages ago.
Wait, so
Yeah.
63, that's like what?
20.
Like 15 years between the movies?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
15.
long time. Harryhausen,
Yeah.
because it looks exactly the same. Besides like the R2D2 owl, it's the same movie.
I wouldn't agree.
What do you mean?
It looks different.
Really?
It's better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's filmed with more. It's just it doesn't have that 60s.
Yeah, it doesn't have that
Feel.
like fuzzy, compressed feel. Not compressed like
There
file
were
compression.
like there was
But,
more
like-
like handheld close-ups or something. That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
you know?
I think they kind of figured out how to like mix and match the effects. It wasn't just like here's a person and then here's an effect. Here's a person. It was more like
Yeah,
blended.
I was gonna say the effects in this is like, remember when Calibos fights Perseus?
hmm
It's really good. Like the compositing just
Honestly,
and the way that
the effects were actually pretty great compared to the other movies you brought to the table.
yeah, Jason or Valley of Guanji.
Yeah.
I guess it just felt the same. And I was thinking, contemporary movies of 1981. But I guess, the
Yeah.
movies of that time. But I guess maybe the later 80s, like Spielberg stuff and blockbusters and things like that.
I mean, look, Raiders of the Lost Ark came out in the same year as Clash of
Oh
the Titans.
wow. Well, that's like
Yeah.
Raiders of
Yeah,
the
you
Lost
see what I
Ark, like
mean?
gold compared to this.
Yeah, it feels like a remnant of an older era,
Yeah. But if
And
you
I don't-
compare this to the other types of sword and sandal movies, then it's amazing.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that there wasn't any reason not to make it feel old-fashioned. I think that was the whole point. It was like the last movie. They
Zeus
said,
have
"We're gonna
lasers
tap it with
behind him."
this." That was
That was
cool.
new.
The laser light was awesome.
Definitely 80s. It's like lasers.
Hey,
Look at this.
so let me just tell you guys that I think this was hands down the best of the trio movies. for
Oh
me,
wow! All right,
for sure. I have
Rockin'.
to say high praise. I was watching the movie, and I will admit, and for old time's sake, I watched the movie full concentration just for you guys, Twofold
Aw,
podcast.
thank you.
And I was invested, and I have to say that the movie held my interest all the way through. And I think they did a really good job for the context of what kind of style of movie it is. And I think they had some really good stuff going. I mean, obviously, there's some cheese in there, but I think the cheese isn't that much. I mean, if you compare it to Jason and the Argonauts, I mean, that's like Jason's like, I'm going to go on an adventure. And it's like, why? I don't know. But this one seems much more, a little more complex, these different characters jumping in. I think it's like a good action adventure type of movie for this genre for that time. I think they did a good job.
Nice. That's a really good review. They had a lot of great set pieces, and yeah.
And I think the effects, like for me, I was watching it, and at the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is sort of the Ray Harryhausen kind of old spiel. They got better at it. But as the movie progressed, I was like, the effects felt like they got better. It's like, like they used it well, and you can see what they're trying to do for the time they're making with the limitations. They tried to make it, intense, and like I said, the storyline isn't so intricate, but it does the action sort of sequence as well, where basically the movie is just a series of action sequences, right? If you think about it, of him trying to overcome these obstacles. And it was good, like especially that Medusa scene. That's like
best scene in the movie.
well done. It's like, whoa, and her eyes and you snaking around.
Spooky.
I think it was pretty good.
Ironically, I actually felt a bit more like usual Jake with watching this movie. I was really having trouble like concentrating, and I dozed off a few times. Kind of popped up back into reality. I was like, oh, what happened? Where are we? What's happening?
Why, Tim?
It was just not really grabbing me at all. I feel like same like Jason, it has the issue of like a really forgettable and unlikable protagonist, just like a random dude that has no charisma. just like it's like a dude off the street, and he's like there, and you're like,
Tim doesn't like dudes off the street. He just doesn't like that.
And then just like I don't know. Like there was nothing particular that caught my attention. Like, like the gods being dicks as usual was kind of interesting. But then when it back to normal adventures of, man and his boys going and killing things, it was not like you saying like Medusa one. It was just like was like, let's get over with the Medusa thing. Like, how long are they going to be standing here looking at each other?
I thought the buildup was great.
I love build-up.
They went
I
through
love
the castle.
build-up. I love that stuff. It just wasn't working for me here at all.
That's so funny because I would agree with you, in my usual Jake fashion. Like, what are they doing? But I think for some reason, it seemed like I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is probably like the last of these sword and sandal movies of this era.
Yep. That's definitely the last.
This kind of style, like they did it as good as they could have done at that time. And I think that's,
well, it's interesting.
It's good.
You mentioned that you've seen this before. Do you think maybe that could play into the part of you?
Honestly, I will be honest that I didn't watch this movie with any nostalgic glasses or like,
Yeah, me either.
I remember watching it, but it wasn't like it was like had any impact or anything, I remember key scenes like the breast.
The key scene.
I'm joking. But like I remember certain elements of the movie. And it wasn't like, I remember it being worse when I watched it before.
Yes, me too,
it was
actually.
like sort of like kind of crappy. And we were like, it was fun because we joked around as friends and stuff, commenting on the movie.
Yeah.
But it was just, it was like a weird movie we just picked up. It's like, oh, let's watch this, from the
I mean,
80s
I kind of knew that it was like, I knew about Ray Harryhausen and stuff like that, but I didn't know the context. Maybe I'm not saying that it's better because I know the context. I'm just saying that I watched it with open eyes. Now,
yeah, I also watched it this time, just really like, as now it wasn't anything to do with the past. And like I said, I really expected to be like you, Tim. I expected like, oh, I can't even stand this. But I think it was interesting, especially at the beginning when you meet Calibos. The makeup was actually pretty freaking good for like that time.
Willem Dafoe,
production. And I didn't really get the cutbacks between him, like close-up makeup, and then you cut back to like him being a claymation.
Because of his legs.
Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the beast man with a tail, right? The one that was cursed.
Yeah, Calibos.
Yeah. Deformed.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
I don't know. Like,
sorry.
Like when you have those intro scenes with him and stuff, I was like, like, okay, I guess, and then he comes back and then, he's annoying and you kind of have some kind of tension in there. It doesn't feel just like, level 1, he killed them, and then, level 2.
yeah. It's like Jason
is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason's like the total opposite. Jason's like, let's go here. We're done with that. What was up with that? No idea. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going until the movie ends.
Yeah. And then we look into the distance and then you see in giant letters, the end. Dun, dun,
we did it, boys. We managed.
We did it, boys. Yeah.
So what about you, Phil?
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie?
Well, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to enjoy it, and I don't mean by saying that it was going to be unenjoyable, because as you know, I'm the one who wanted us to watch this, and I like them already. As you know, I already like it, and I love these kinds of movies. They inspire me. They make me happy. I really enjoyed watching this one. I think I'm with Jacob where I enjoyed watching this one the most, which was surprising because I thought this one wasn't going to be as good as Jason and the Argonauts. But
I think Jason, for sure, looking back, it's like, I think I probably had this like false notion that's a much better movie than it is just because it's like historical and this stuff. It's pretty crappy in my opinion.
Okay.
I
understand.
I think I like the Jason most because it was like the first time I delved into this Sandals and claymation.
Oh man. And so now you're just like,
now I've seen it all, kind of like it's. I'm back into
seen
this.
It all.
I'm back into this world. I think what I did like most, the way it intrigued me. I was thinking about Greek mythology and just like how cruel those gods are, and like how they just like they're so angry at things, and they just make like even think about Gorgon the Medusa. Like I don't know what she did. Why is she cursed?
Yeah, and I was wondering that too.
And she's just there, and the poor soul is like angry, and then Jason just like uses her like a puppet, just cuts her freaking head off to save his girl. And it's like, what did Medusa ever do to you, man?
Right.
Medusa like slept with Poseidon, and it's like after that. He was
it's
banished for all time.
Same like the what do you call him? The dude with the tail. It's like, well, he was, Zeus was angry at him, so he was like, okay, now you're demon boy.
Yeah. And then, by the way, I wonder, do you guys know anything about Greek mythology? Because I'm curious now. I was thinking about this. It's like these Greek gods, they have like obviously human characteristics, right? They're jealous, they're, cheating. They don't even play by their own rules. Like Zeus, right? He's like the main god, I guess, like sort of like the head manager.
Head manager of
this place.
What was it? It's not Atlantis. What is it called? What's their place?
Olympus. It's like regional director. I'm just kidding. And for instance, so he's like, he's the main god, right? But he, like sleeps around and he cheats people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like later in the movie, he says a line. He's like, we will dedicate this to Perseus and the stars. Remember that? He's like, forever he will be known as the greatest ever, right? There ever was. And then he even says, even if we are forgotten, he'll still be in the stars. And I'm thinking to myself, like in Greek mythology, it's like, can these gods die? What happens to them? Like, how much control do they have? It was interesting, I thought.
I don't know, but it also made me think about it. I'm definitely going to look up Greek mythology.
I don't think that they're like the main gods. I think they're kind of like, there's still someone I think above them. I don't know. Someone more educated.
I don't know.
More? Do you know more about the Greek gods?
But in the mythology, like I said back in our Jason episode, they fought against the Titans, who were kind of their fathers and mothers.
So the Titans, the Kraken was the father of Zeus.
See, yeah, that's the thing. Like they change things. They change things, but no. See, that's the thing. That you have to realize that these are still films, and a lot of artistic license was taken. Yeah. But from what I remember, the Titans were first. They created the world. The gods came. I think Kronos is the father of Zeus, unless I'm mistaken. Kronos is one of the most popular Titans that we kind of know in modern vernacular. And they just threw them out. The Olympians threw out the Titans. The Titans are banished. They're gone. So the Olympians stayed. Yeah,
the 12 Olympians, they gained their supremacy in a 10-year-long war of gods in which Zeus led his siblings to victory when he previous generations of ruling gods, the Titans. So they kick out the Titans and now they're gods.
See? They kick out the Titans.
Olympians, yeah.
See, isn't Wikipedia great? We could just, talk about history.
Like I said in a couple episodes back, I think for the Jason, I remember in philosophy class, we're learning about Socrates, talking about this god called Demiurge, who created everything. So I'm thinking that maybe he like sort of was like, what do you call that? Like a deist god. He like set it into motion, and then maybe he put these players, into the
and also change, this stuff, and then also you get like Romans then took it and just did the whole thing.
And they swapped out the names and stuff. They're like rebranding. Let's go.
Jupiter. Even Hercules. He's like, yep, we take that. They're really like,
he's good for our religion.
Heracles, take him out. Hercules, here we go.
Yeah, it's funny to me. Like people always go like, Tarantino and everything's a remix now, and nowadays everything's about nostalgia and everything's just looking back. It's like, dude, look at the Romans. They just basically stole everything off the Greeks.
Religion.
The Greeks still
religion. It's like
everything. The whole culture of Roman was like, we want to be like the Greeks. Think of like
it was like souped up Greece.
Look at like the medieval times and like the Renaissance. Everybody was like, let's be more like the Greeks. Like even Germany, Nazi Germany was like, well, like the Romans, the new republic. It's always just looking back. We're just
even
so
now, right?
stuck.
Like democracy, Greece, right? Ancient Greece.
And the Greeks, they stole it all over the the Gaff or the sea. Just like it's. And they're always going back.
They're cherry picking. Yeah, why not?
They're making their own brand.
Humans, they're always looking back. They're like, we must go back to the great days, the glory days.
Yeah. The glory days.
The glory days of ancient Greece.
It's like when your favorite band goes and makes the next album. We went back to our roots.
That's always the worst album.
Always the worst album.
Yeah. So
here's create the magic.
So here's what I was thinking watching this movie. I was thinking like, they tried to do the whole Sandals and claymation reboot, but I think the problem was that
when
well, a couple like 10 years ago, right?
Titans.
Yeah, it sucked.
There was other movies that came out around that time as well, but the problem I think that what they try to do, reignite that whole trend. The problem, I think, was that they're too inspired by 300. Like, even if you look at the poster,
300. Yeah.
And that's completely different because that's not really based on Sandals. That's based on that comic book, which is a completely different kind of idea of, I think, this is more about like hero's journey and adventures and stuff like that. But
it's a movie about, it's like these are stories about actions.
Yeah,
these
but
are not stories about internal monologues.
But I don't think they would work as straightforward as these are. I think the audience and social, our society has moved on from just watching a generic plot like this and be completely okay. You have to have different angles.
We've moved on from Fast and the Furious and things like that.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But I think
I know what you're saying on a global sense.
Did you hear
a white man going and killing creatures just because he gets to the girl? That just doesn't run. The people expect a little bit more, but I was thinking
people expect, and this is for real, by the way. People expect to hear a crossover between Jurassic Park and Fast and the Furious.
I mean, that's a different.
They were talking about it. Yeah, they're saying Vin Diesel said,
totally
"Never say never."
Yeah. Sure, whatever. I don't care. But let them do that.
To add to your point, is that also we're now used to seeing I have a theory, and that's that, for instance, some of these action movies back in the day, like this one is a good example, or even Jason and the Argonauts, is I think you went to see this category of film as, I think you were saying that, Phil, just about actions. They weren't about characters and what they're thinking and what they're, they weren't the gap between what those characters are like and how they relate to us as people was much bigger, right? So you have
that's
just these
that's
sort
what
of
a hero
figurines,
is.
Yeah.
They just, play out the parts, it's more like a
simple
very
play.
simplistic play. Yeah, exactly. Whereas I think, that gap shrunk, right, as more films became more mainstream and became accepted to understand a movie has characters and they have feelings and they change and they don't make the right decisions and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see a movie like this. I imagine if you went to watch an action film and you liked that kind of genre back in the day, this would have been good, right? It's you get to see the action, you get to see this heads getting cut off, and then the characters' lines are "Let's go there." Okay.
Yeah. But I was thinking, how could something like this be rebooted? And I would see it working if someone like Taika Waititi did it and did a Thor Ragnarok type of vibe.
I guess so.
Where because I think the in these old movies the whole world is straightforward. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And also, but everyone's centered on this hero. Basically no one matters. Everyone's there for the hero and they're not aware of the world bends around the hero. Everyone dies, everyone does things so the hero can go get the girl. Right, that kind of world. And then I was saying the perception of reality is a little bit more advanced to people, and you don't think like that. You think okay, everyone has a story around him and it wouldn't work. But I think Thor in Ragnarok, he's if you make that character, your hero, a bit of a, what do they call that? A himbo, right? A person who's this, not so smart. They're really hot and they're strong, but they have a good heart.
It's a man version of a bimbo.
Yeah. But it's but has a good heart, and if the hero himself believes he's the hero, like Thor did, then the world around him can be a little bit more cynical, and you have that kind of balance between. You can have a straightforward hero who's basically just wants to be a hero, and you don't really question if the world around him kind of is more interesting. And I think that, a Sandal, and a little bit more, you can have some heavy metal in the background, and the visuals are all colorful and amazing, and you can have this pantheon of gods and bring the old actors, have Russell Crowe and
ones anyway.
No, not those.
Russell Crowe.
Some 80s and 90s, now they're older, bring those actors, make them gods.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Ares be great.
No, not. See,
no,
not. I said actors, not movie stars.
Oh, okay. So you're saying, okay, so
good actors.
You put Russell Crowe in there. So what else?
Well, Russell Crowe can act. I don't know, anyone really, like class, in Harry Potter, all the teachers are all classic English
British
actors.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
British, that kind of they can act, not just bring anyone to be there, but and you could have a colorful story where the hero is kind of oblivious of them, and they're just going same like this one, straightforward in a path. That could be interesting. That's how I see it. How would you see How would you see if Sandals were rebooted or brought back the new Sandals Renaissance?
The new Sandals Renaissance.
NSR.
I don't think you want me to make that movie.
No, I want to hear your opinion. How would you think?
Come on, let's hear it.
How would that work? You said you love these movies and
that's
bring
right,
you joy.
and
You got.
So how would you?
It's gonna be like
pitch
Peter
us the
Jackson's
movie.
King Kong, dude.
Oh,
That's
no.
what it's gonna be like.
What?
It's not gonna be 3 hours, but it's gonna be like
2
make
hours,
it-
55 minutes.
yeah.
So what's the vibe? Like, so what? You're taking it seriously or you're taking it
Yeah,
lightly?
that's my question too.
You're going to. What I would do is I would take what the essence of these films were, and that is, in the way I see it, is kind of the spectacle aspect of it, but not the way that they did it with the Clash of the Titans from 2010, where it was like, big CGI, yeah, I would be honest with it. I would be honest with the material, and it would be like trying to tell a story that is modernized, a way that is intricate, like Jacob was talking about, but it would have that same feeling of spectacle that people might have had when they were watching the movies in the 1950s and 60s.
So what do you think is a good contemporary movie of the last year that does spectacle well?
Lord of the Rings.
That's
Thor
20
Ragnarok.
years ago. 10 years ago.
What did
10.
you guys? 10 years ago.
What for Phil, like you said, a movie that makes it a spectacle? Because I feel like making it a spectacle...
it depends on... With the visuals, I've not seen something that was good enough to be like, yeah, this is visually awesome. You know what I mean? Like, you can take away the CGI elements, because like I watched King Kong versus Godzilla and I loved seeing the fight scenes. I didn't like how they were shot, and I didn't feel like there was anything particularly outstanding about the visuals. But the technology is good. You know what I mean? It looks great. Like the monsters look great. You know what I mean?
Because I feel like the last
But I've not seen that. Like spectacle. I think, I'm sorry, just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jurassic Park is a big element that really brings in, like,
but
they knew what they were
years
doing.
ago. That's
But
30
it was
years
30
ago.
years. I know.
People didn't
I
see
went to
dinosaurs.
20, Phil went to 30.
Tim's trying to ask something. I can't think of much except like I'm just thinking in my head, like The Dark Knight. That had some sort of like, because they used the IMAX camera and it had
but I don't think that's
visceral
why
feeling.
people were drawn to
No.
it because of that.
But that kind of genre doesn't exist so much now.
And I think there's a very good reason for it, because I think once we reached decent CGI, you can basically portray anything. So spectacle for the sake of
That's
spectacle.
actually a really good point.
But
no
I was
point to
not
it
mentioning.
anymore.
But I'm not saying we're gonna make a spectacle. It's gonna be cool because there's gonna be big
But you
things.
said it was about spectacle.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering. Well, how do you see spectacle?
I see spectacle as like being able to go through an emotional journey that sweeps you away into a new world. And
But I think the
that doesn't have to be.
emotional journey
That
is
doesn't.
the core.
Yeah, it has to be a human
The
story.
spectacles around it.
Like, let's say,
Yeah,
For
but
instance, with my 20 years ago example, that Lord of the Rings, right? It's about all the people's struggles.
so let's talk
And
about
the action is just, the things they have to do.
like the
why do you guys make
mainstream
it sound like I'm
No,
gonna make
I'm
the
trying
dumbest
to
movies in the
understand
world?
you.
No, I'm trying to understand it. Because so let's say okay, so spectacle of people complain that the MCU, the biggest tentpole movies of our era, are just big spectacles of the action. I think I completely disagree, because to me personally, from me experience, I don't go watch those movies because the spectacle. Most of the time, the action and the visuals are boring. Besides Thor Ragnarok, obviously, but to me, it's more about the characters and just the journey that you go on of this long. It's basically a soap opera to me. It's my soap opera.
Right.
It's not really deep. It's not really clever, but it's good enough that I care for the characters and I want to see where they go next. And I think the whole spectacle around it, I generally think people go see those movies because of that. And the spectacle is like this added thing that if it went away, nothing would change. if an MC movie came out and there was no action, I don't think anyone would care, to be honest.
right. that has its like. I was just gonna argue about The Matrix and Star Wars,
Okay.
and I was gonna say those two movies, the first Star Wars, the original,
Mm-hmm.
those don't have necessarily characters that you're looking into their heads and you're going like, oh, what are like I want to know more about them. You know what I mean? It's driven by the outer elements, like Star Wars is a story about someone going on an adventure and fighting an empire, with his friends and destroying the Death Star, and it's not necessarily, people loved it, people still love it, but it's not necessarily like, talking about how he feels about it and, focusing exactly onto his internal, like character's internal stories there. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, so you mean like sort of it's about the story of like the forces versus like specifically the people. Like in Star Wars, it's about sort of good versus evil, empire versus rebels. Sort of like this. I'm just trying to argue that I don't believe that there's only one way of being able to tell a story. There are different interests, that can make you like. There's different ways you can go about telling a certain story you want to tell. You know what I mean? I don't feel like what I'm a little bit afraid of is someone saying, "Okay, here's this film, and the concepts are interesting, but we're going to do the thing where the character is the center now. We're going to talk about the characters. We're just going to focus on them. It will be fine. It will be a fine movie. I'm not saying it's going to be good or bad, but I'm just saying that I feel like there are other ways of telling a story that don't necessarily have to be fit in that mold,
What I'm curious is, what I'm trying to get at is, do you think modern audiences still can be engaged by a movie where you kind of take, a basic concept of good versus evil, and you base it around that? Do you think people can still connect to that, or they're, and putting like, like a visual, as you said, like a spectacle to it?
Yeah.
Would people, or there's enough movies like that people would just like not be able to connect? Yeah. Is that enough still to make, after, 100 years of film history?
Like, given all the technology and everything we can do now.
I mean, I can't tell you because I didn't make it, but like I think it's possible, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm putting my hands up and going, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it.
For you as a viewer, like when you watch a movie and a new movie that does that, is that for you like, aha, I love this?
Probably, yeah. I haven't seen one yet, but probably.
Yeah, that's what we asked. Like,
that's what
last year? Yeah. I think we were asking. Like,
that's why I think we're asking that, because I'm wondering too. Because I have to agree with Tim here, my co-host, that for me, like that's something that's completely changed. Like in the last, 5 to 10 years, it's like when you watch a film now, if there isn't like a core to the movie that has to do with the experience of the characters, I personally, for me, all the action, even if it's amazing action, for me, there's no, like, I don't know, it's not important to me. It's like, well,
here's
cool. Like, now cue action scene for the next 10 minutes. Great. Now what's the character?
I'm not necessarily talking about like again, I'm not talking about it has to be an action scene.
Just examples.
Spectacle in terms of like, we're just saying examples, but like spectacle in terms of like, visual, like actionable thing. It doesn't have to be like,
I'll have another
action,
I have another example for you.
Okay, go.
Alien.
Okay.
Alien 1?
Alien 1. It's not necessarily about some character's journey, because for like the first half of the movie,
I think it is.
The first 2/3 of the movie, you don't really even know who the main character is.
But it's about people.
Yeah, but those people, that's the center of it. It's really not about the alien at all. I mean, you barely see
it's about the reactions and how
it's the transition of that crew, of how they were and what kind of state they're put in. Literally dead and sort of traumatized. It's the personal
and
journey.
What limits like it's pushing.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to think about the movie now, and I'm just thinking that didn't feel like, to me, it was like the
And I'll also
really?
expand
the emphasis, you know.
And I'll expand to
like-
what Jake was saying as well. Is to me, it's not about just,
like here's a question. Do you think that Alien would work if it wasn't that alien? If it was the rubber chicken, you know, that they were almost going to do when they did the concept art?
I think it could be less effective, but I think it would be essentially the same story.
yeah.
I don't know. I
don't think the alien was the key.
I don't look at the alien. Yeah, I don't look at the alien like if the alien, you know. I don't look at the key
Because
either.
the-
Like I think that
okay.
the whole
'Cause
movie
because
the
I
alien,
watched
like
that-
the alien himself, that's more related to, you know, the second movie and later on become the legend. I think
I don't
in
know,
the
because like
first-
to me the second
That's
movie is more
true.
of a character thing because it's definitely Ripley coming to terms with, you know,
I know, but
the whole
that's true. Ripley
thing.
is coming to terms of
In the
it,
second
but then how
movie,
come
yeah.
the first movie isn't like that for you? That's why I'm
because
wondering.
in the first movie you barely know that she's the main character because that's the whole point. The whole point
But it
in that
doesn't-
story is for you to kind of guess, you know. It's kind of like the excitement thing where you don't know who's going to survive, who we're actually focusing on as a main character, you know.
But I wouldn't
It's like all
necessarily
of them as a
say
collective.
Phil as a main character. I'm not, and it's not about, okay, you have a main character, you understand who they are, and then
Okay, so-
what they're thinking. It's not about that. It's basically about like to me it's
Yeah, it's like the psychology between them and how people would react to something that would happen
there's
to
like
them
that human
that.
connection.
Yeah.
But to me, it's
And
also
what happens to them. I understand. Yeah.
It's
But-
not it's about like, it's not about anymore, let's make a movie. Like, I'm not engaged, okay, what is a movie? And these are the things that make a movie. That's not enough to me to watch a movie. I always look for a personal idea or personal connection of the person
Right.
making that movie. Like, there's got to be some kind of something that drives them to make that movie. And that could be a personal story. It could be them wanting to tell this real life event, or they want to portray this magical world or this kind of scenario, or it's a complete vision, you know, something like, The Lighthouse, where everything seems like it's coming out of some person. Like there's a human behind that movie instead of just let's make a movie because the movies exist. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, I haven't seen a movie
Yeah.
like that in a long time, which is like a movie that makes me connect. Like they all usually end up being trash. And, my personal opinion of me
makes sense.
experiencing the movie.
But look, Tim, but the thing is that I don't disagree with you because that is important and it's absolutely how you should, like what you look into. It's like one of the big bedrocks of like how you connect to a story, right? But I don't know, like I'm just trying to say, like the argument I'm just trying to make is that,
I'm just wondering, tell us more about this movie you see in your head. Like, if you see it, like,
I'm also curious.
Like, I want to know more about, like, what's the thing that would excite you to make, let's say if you're doing, I almost said Teen Titans. What's it called? Clash of Titans.
Teen Titans.
It's called
Yeah.
Tit Titans.
Clash of the Tits.
Clash of the Tits. If you're making Clash of the Tits, what's the one thing that, like, makes you go excited? Like, what's the thing what you would want the audience to see? Do you have something, a sequence or a visual or something like that? What do you think the spectacle would be?
Well, I think when I was watching this movie, I was thinking to myself, the first thing that I think of is doing justice to the, like, trying to not modernize, that sounds bad. Doing the Medusa scene. And you see, like, for me, that sounds really exciting, being able, like, you take all the great ideas from that and then you make it tense and scary and try to push it the way you feel is going to be even more tense and scary, now. And that's kind of how I think, first of all, because, like, I don't think of, like,
So, like,
sometimes
sequences?
yeah, so it's like, it's like sequences, because I can't think of, like, oh man, how, like, what's her name?
Ripley.
Cosmona. No, Cosmona. What's her name?
Who's Cosmos?
Andromeda. Like, I'm just thinking Andromeda. Well, then again, at the same time, that's also not a bad idea. Like, how does she feel? What is her perspective on this? She has to go to Calabas every second
That's
night.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's things like that.
But, like, the funny thing is, like, the Medusa one, like, like, I to me, the word, like, I'll draw a little comparison here. I think for me, there's nothing worse than somebody wants to remake something and they make it want to be better quality. Like, okay, so redoing a old score and making it orchestra never works out. Always sounds like garbage. It loses the feel of it. Or let's say, oh, we're going to do this movie, but imagine if we had CGI, we could do this vision right.
Like basically, if you're thinking
never
about,
turns out right.
Understanding you, Tim, it's like a technical upgrade.
Yes.
Something like that.
And I see
like,
it on Reddit every day. People go like, oh, imagine if we saw this movie, but with today's CGI. It's like,
it reminds me a lot of like, do you guys know this band called Meshuggah?
Yes.
they're
Meshuggah is the best.
From I think, I don't know what country, but I know
they're
somewhere
Swedish.
in Scandinavia, one of those countries. Thank you, Swedish. And they're like sort of the pioneers of that specific genre, which is like super chunky, technical, like death metal, right? And they play these like
it's just groove metal,
okay,
like Gent just big groove metal. It's like a rhythm
like
based.
the birth of Gent, something like that. Anyway,
you should play some Meshuggah. Put Meshuggah bleed.
Wait. You guys talked about Meshuggah once.
Probably
a long time ago. But this is an interesting comparison, in my opinion. Is that Meshuggah, they made a record, I think, in the late 90s. I honestly don't know their discography, but they made a record in the late 90s, and they were trying to find that heavy sound, right, that they were going after. Like this really low-tuned... That's how it sounds like, exactly.
Exactly.
And they were detuning, I think, 6-string guitars, maybe 7, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And there was like, the strings were floppy, but they were getting the sound they want. And they recorded this album in the late 90s, and they were happy with it, right? They put it out. They got in, they kind of broke through the scene, right? They became kind of like a cult hit, yeah. And then years later, Ibanez, did a deal with them. Ibanez is a guitar manufacturer, and they did a deal with them, making them a set of custom guitars. I think were 8-string guitars, right?
I think they're on 8 strings now, yeah.
So that means that they can play those chug riffs, but their strings have the tension and tightness. It sounds overall better for what the sound they wanted. And listen to this. And I think like 10 or 15 years later, they re-recorded that whole album with the new guitars because they liked it so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's anything bad, but I'm also failing to see the point. Because for me, it's like, I feel like that's the sound from that time when they made that album. That's interesting, right? That's, there's like a historical thing to that now. It's like, that's a little time capsule. Why would you go back and like technically upgrade it?
George Lucas
said, the sound of the guitars. Because you can do it with anything. You can be like, wow, Rage Against the Machine, the first album. Let's go.
I get it. Listen.
I was just making
you can put words into my mouth as much as you want.
I didn't put any words into your mouth.
No.
But the first thing I said,
talking.
The thing I will say is I would not remake Clash of the Titans.
Okay, sorry.
You're kidding me.
No. So what would you do? How would you
said, what would you do?
Sandals.
How would I do swords and sandals? Like, like, do you want to like have a brainstorming session? We can talk about it there.
Well, no, I'm just wondering from Europe. Like I was telling you about, like the only thing that came to me is like I would love to see swords and sandals with like the Greek pantheon and all these creatures and titans, like super, like tongue in cheek, Thor Ragnarok.
I'm also wondering what is in your opinion, like I understand like redoing sequences how you would want to do them. But I'm wondering, what is like the essence or the core essence of what would make you, what Tim said, make you want to make the movie? What would be like the difference, right? Like the sort of re-envisioning.
Well, look, here's the thing: the gateway for me to make me excited is talking about the external, like how it's going to be shot.
Like
I would like color.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see, I want to see like an honesty. I want to have a feeling of,
like
what
aesthetics.
Like,
what's the aesthetic?
Like, how do we make it look like as ancient Greek as you can? How does that look like?
So you're thinking realistic? I mean, because this is myth, like that's look at the era, see how that works. Like what was that like? How did people behave that time? What do you do with that? Then you bring in like a little bit of that mythic. So like realism
feeling.
With like extra. So how would you go magic, like straightforward how we're looking, or are you trying to like find what would be the real world equivalent of the magical creature? Like, okay, so you make him like a demon in the myth, and real life it's more like he's born deformed. Or what are you thinking? Or are you thinking like showing you magical?
Well, yeah, are you talking? It seems like you're talking narratively.
I'm talking about like the aesthetic, like how, like what's the feel of the movie? Like if you're
the feel.
if you're bringing sandals and tits into the into the
Sandals and
modern
tits.
age,
Exclusively
contemporary.
those two. They have to be in it. You know, in the contract, it's like
Yeah.
tits and sandals or no movie.
No, because they did the.
Didn't they do that with Spartacus? Isn't that what the whole thing is about?
I don't
Tits and
know.
sandals?
I don't know. I didn't watch Spartacus. But sure.
Farticus, I believe it was.
Spartacus.
Sorry, I'm like 12.
Yeah. I'm trying to feel what you're seeing aesthetic. I'm just curious, you know. Though again, we didn't even discuss.
I'm
Would
ju-
you?
I-
Would
well, I don't-
are you
I don't know
excited
why
about
we're-
sandals? Like, does sandals want to
Not-
make you?
not at the
Actually, we
moment.
didn't ask him, yeah.
Okay.
Not at the
we
moment,
should have
no,
probably
I don't-
started with that.
Yeah, we're assuming Phil wants to
It's
make
like Phil. Yeah. We're
a
like,
movie.
I don't. I have no current ambitions to do anything.
what would you
right
bring?
now.
What would you bring Phil back? What's something that's still, you know, that either tried to be brought back and to do its justice, or something that is, you know, still hidden in the realms of history?
Oh,
You-
dude, Sinbad. Gotta bring back Sinbad. That's what I want to do.
Zimbad. What is that? Sandals and ships? What is that?
No, it's you know Sinbad, the sailor.
I know.
It's from the one.
Sinbad
It's
the
from the
sailor,
1000
man.
It's from the 1001 Nights. From the
Yeah, I know the story. I don't. Is there a movie or something?
Yeah,
you would-
Harryhausen. I didn't bring any of those movies. There's 3 of them, Sinbad movies that Harryhausen had animation, you know, producing and stuff like that. Yeah.
So Harryhausen. Let's finish off this Harryhausen talk. So Harryhausen did these
Okay.
movies, and you like him, Phil, right? So
I do. They're wonderful.
So my question is there something that what's the essence of Harryhausen that isn't locked to technology, right? If you take away claymation, which bring claymation.
You make it sound like everything I like is heartless and cold
I'm
and
trying to
unfeeling.
understand.
Say anything. Why we're trying to understand? Why are you getting defensive?
You
We're just
say you like
letting
it.
you
I want to know
discuss
why. It's
what
not like
you like. Yeah.
What is it about that? You know, like
It always
Seriously wonder, 'cause I
sounds.
don't know.
I'm sorry. It always sounds so backhanded. That's why.
I'm so
Why?
sorry, Phil.
Who was backhanded?
I don't know.
I'm
That's
confused
what
why
it
you're
feels like.
defensive and mad when we're literally having a conversation, wondering what it is.
Yeah.
What you like?
Like search your
I'm
field.
trying
like,
to. Well, because whenever I mention it, I mention something, and then the conclusion turns into, oh, he's just like the guy who, you know, all the people who like Clash of the Titans, the remake. You
Phil,
know?
that's not that's
No.
an excuse. We're all adults here, and we have to behave like adults. It means you can't.
We're all
say,
adults
but then,
here.
But then
Yeah.
this. But then.
No, Phil. No, I'm okay. Maybe because the examples we gave it was, but I would definitely not. I'm not thinking of you making, you know, Clash of the Titans remake. I'm not feeling it. I'm just curious, like, you know, like there's obviously people like things because of like nostalgia. Like they like it because it reminds them of something, and they don't have any. You know, they're not filmmakers. They're never thinking of how would they make it. But you know, you consider yourself someone who wants to be a filmmaker and make movies in the future. And I always want to understand what have been your vision. And you always want to talk about like making big movies. You know, so I'm just trying to understand like how you feel like. And you were talking about you like this, so I was like, so what is it like? How would you?
You know what is specifically? I think that's
Yeah, how would you?
Okay,
bring
well,
it?
Well, the thing is that I wouldn't necessarily bring that specific thing there because that belongs where it belongs. But I'm I'm drawing inspiration from it. That's what I love about it. You watch it and you just start thinking, a sequence like this. I'm inspired by the Medusa sequence. I would love something that has that effect in a movie I would make someday, you know?
Okay, so like nothing specific from it. It's just about that, you know, it's like a villain and it takes its time and it's like moody colors. That's what you're thinking.
Yes.
Right? Not
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But if you say, Philip, tits and sandals, what are we doing? And then I'm like, then let's talk about it. I'm excited about that too, you know? But I don't think I would like me now. If you said we're doing a Harryhausen style epic, and I'm like, why? It was made and it's great, you know. That's how I feel.
Okay. Yeah. So we're making the tits and sandals. How would Phil make it? You have to make it. If
Well,
you're in the studio,
okay.
this is your one chance.
Those are the main questions.
There will. There is a certain bird called a tit, so I think that technically counts. I think we're okay with that.
Maybe
but
the
if you
bird could
don't,
replace
if
the
you
metal
don't want
bird.
that,
We didn't talk about this
yeah.
movie at all, by the way.
it was a good movie. I don't know. Like that's what I liked. Do you like the Kraken? Kraken was great. I don't know why
the swamp
Poseidon
monster?
was so interesting. What swamp monster?
The Titan looks like Swamp Monster.
Oh, he does. The 3 witches. Remember with the eye?
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
did Disney rip that off?
Oh yeah.
Of course. Oh yeah, of course they did.
What?
I think
Is this
I think this is the movie.
I mean, they're
that,
classic. Oh really?
Yeah.
This was like Disney was like they were fans of this and they were like, let's use things.
Yeah, that, I mean, you get inspired by a lot of things. Anyway, Tits and Sandals. We're lucky that we talked about this because when our Jason and the Argonauts episode, I talked about how everyone in that movie is like, it's the will of the gods. I'll do this for the gods, you know? Are you guys there?
Yeah. I for a second, because it sounded like you said tits in sandals, so I imagined the bird tit in a sandals.
Yeah,
I made a grievous error of thinking if I put that in the Google, it's gonna give me a bird with those sandals.
Oh, yeah.
No, I have like
You'll
safe
get
search
sandal
off,
tits.
and it was like, don't search those two words at the same time. It's just nothing. Ugh.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah. Okay, Tits and Sandals, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. So thankfully I had an idea, and it was back in the Jason days when we were watching Jason and the Argonauts. There's a lot of, I have to serve the gods. I have to, if I serve Zeus, then Zeus will definitely protect me, and so on, so on,
Serve
and so
Zeus
forth.
or serve man?
And that's what I was gonna say. That to me was the interesting part. And if there's anything I would make that is Tits and Sandals, it would be the dichotomy between what does it mean to serve the gods, especially if they're not, they are jealous, absolutely human people. Human people, yes. They are human people.
Unlike the unhuman people.
They're just as human as you are. What gives, and their demands might not be moral or for the best. So you have this idea of, are you going to go and do something for what is essentially like a mafia boss, like the gods, or are they? Because sometimes they can give you benevolent gifts and protect you.
Yeah, they're
Or
basically
are you
the
going
Greek
to-
mafia. When you put it like that.
or are you going to help your fellow man? Are you going to do what you feel is right as a human being to help, like a neighbor or someone? But if Poseidon shows up and says, "Hey, drown that woman," and it's like,
That's exactly his laugh too.
So
drown that woman,
so would you do like
or I curse you.
take like some kind of classic mythological tale and then make it interesting, or would you take a new hero you make up and put him in this world of all of this?
I don't know. I'm not
make
good
a
at
new
writing,
story.
so I'm gonna have to say the first one. I can't make up stories. I'm bad at it.
Okay,
There you go.
that's that.
I thought that was an interesting concept, so that's kind
That's
of
cool.
what I was thinking about.
Interesting. I like the
No
Greek
one
mafia.
talks about like the gods being jerks, and it's interesting because we have all these TV shows that are like Game of Thrones. This is
Prime
essentially
time.
Game of Thrones
Yes,
with the gods. I mean,
they go and
I
they.
can't believe no
like
one's
that.
doing that. What?
I mean, even this.
I think people would like that.
I think they
Yeah.
would. I think. I mean, like it's even just this
You
movie.
could call it like Olympus,
No, that's we. Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
or just like Mount Olympus.
Just
Have you
call it
seen the
Mount-
Mount Olympus episode?
yeah.
Just Mount. Yeah.
But like this movie starts like it's hilarious. Zeus goes and impregnates a woman. Obviously, the dad is angry. He's like, "What is this? God, come here and impregnate my
Yeah.
daughter. I'll kill them." And then God is like, my child. City burns.
Yeah, I love my
What is
child.
this? It's like children
Right?
dealing with issues.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like everyone's just jealous. Like, well, he said. Well, she said.
You can have a
That's what I found interesting. No one, I don't see that. I don't see that in media. And if I do, it's either they're jerks or the opposite. And I don't know. I think there's. I don't know. I haven't seen all of Game of. I haven't seen all of Game of Thrones, but
Don't. It ends bad.
I just what I love how the tone changed. By the way, with Game of Thrones, that was funny.
It's a
season
pain
8.
for everyone. It's a pain for everyone.
Yeah. But I was gonna say I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but like I saw the first season and I thought everyone is a jerk and I didn't like anybody, so I never went to see the next couple of seasons. I don't know, but there's a lot of, you don't have to necessarily make someone right, someone wrong, or make everyone a jerk. There's always this gray area, and person watching can make up their own mind. It can raise questions more than it gives answers. Anyway,
cool.
Let's wrap this up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did we predict return of Sandals and Swords? Who knows? Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But Ray Harryhausen is great, and Peter Jackson. Let me cap this off by saying Peter Jackson in a book. I can't remember what it was. I remember reading it at a bookstore, and when I say that, I mean like 2009. And I don't know what it was for. I think it was for special effects. And Peter Jackson was doing the foreword, and he said that one of the main reasons he wanted to do Lord of the Rings was because it was as close to a Ray Harryhausen film as he could, find. And it was supposed to be like a big tribute to Ray Harryhausen's work. So
Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah. Because
it was a big influence from him. I remember I read, 2 books almost now about Peter
You're
Jackson.
the local expert of Peter Jackson.
Yeah, you are.
And you're right, Phil. That is a fact. One of his biggest inspirations, Ray Harryhausen, and he also even met him in person.
Yeah. A friend of mine met him in person too, so that's interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah. Diana, Jacob,
Oh, wow.
I saw a picture of her with Ray Harryhausen. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there we go.
To your honor,
So,
Harry.
The big question is, like for old time's sake, as before.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Would you recommend this movie?
Oh,
Go,
yeah.
Phil.
I'm going to say yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say you're going to
Timothy.
watch it.
Yeah, watch. There's Sandals. It's good.
So you
And
recommend
tits.
Yeah, why not?
Clash of the Tits.
That's my person. Like, it's a classic. People love it. You might enjoy it. I don't see a reason
That's
why
good.
not.
I think that's a good recommendation. I would recommend it too. I think if you're not interested in this thing, classic Jake, recommendation, disclaimer, then obviously don't. But if it seems like, oh yeah, I like history, I like, Greek mythology, definitely check it out. I think you might be surprised,
Yeah. And next episode, we're just going to say goodbye to Jacob, and it's going to be sad.
But wait, no, it's my episode. I
Yeah.
have a movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Jake has a movie.
It's the next episode.
Should I reveal it now or next episode? Maybe next
I
episode.
don't
we'll
know.
reveal it.
Give us like a hint,
A context?
a clue.
It's a
a
movie
vague clue. A
that
vague clue.
Okay, I'll give you a vague clue. It's actually a pretty good vague clue. So it's a movie that actually is based on a TV show.
Could be anything.
That was
Very
into.
vague.
Could be anything. That's
very
awesome.
vague.
That's
I
good.
like
It's
it.
a big hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us
And,
what channel it's from.
No,
Phil,
that
I can't.
reveals
That's
too
not
much.
Okay.
everything.
That reveals.
I'll leave it at that. And
No, that's a good
leave
one.
it,
That's good.
Okay. Well, we'll see you later next time. Man, I gotta pee.
Phil's got to find
You
Drake.
gotta pee that citric acid out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody, see you next time. And
Bye.
have a good one.
Indeed. Bye-bye.
Bye.